Welcome to Emerge and Empower Podcast TV, a platform where resilience meets transformation. Here, we amplify voices that have faced trials, trauma, and adversity, stories that inspire hope, healing, and empowerment. Every episode brings raw, unfiltered conversations with individuals who have risen from hardship, embracing faith, strength, and purpose. Join us as we break the silence, uplift one another, and emerge stronger together. New episodes air Wednesdays at 6 p.m. English and Saturdays at 6 p.m. with select Saturdays in Creole for our Haitian audience.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to Emerge and Empower with your host, yours truly, Dr. Lynn J. Again, this is season 5. Can you believe that? We are in season 5 and in year 3 of Emerge and Empower, where individuals are coming on and they're sharing their stories of emergence. Now, if you've seen it, we've covered topics from A to Z when it comes to the different variations of trauma. Today, we are here yet again with our guest that was on last week, Avonlea, for part 2. There was so much to unload and so much to talk about that we could not rush the segment. So she also has a GoFundMe that is here. I would like for you to participate in the GoFundMe for this cause. So you will see all the information in the bio. All right. So we're going to welcome her to the set. Go ahead and get your seat ready. All right. If you are driving, hurry up and get home because we don't want you on your phone and watching this. All right. And if you are busy, I'll give you just a minute to get yourself ready. Share it in all your groups. Share the YouTube link with everyone. Wherever you're watching, share the link. There is YouTube, Emerging and Power with Dr. Lynn J. There is the Emerging and Power Facebook. If you're not watching it from that Facebook page, sign up, become a follower on the Facebook page. We have something new. We also have TikTok, where we are not only sharing the magazine, but clips from the episodes. All right. So I want you to go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to Emerge and Empower TV with Dr. Lynn J. Subscribe. I'm gonna just put this here as a reminder with these little smiley faces. Subscribe, like, and share. Okay. Subscribe, like, and share. And we're waiting for you. I'm waiting. They say don't touch that dial. I want you to touch it. Touch, click, subscribe. Come out of this if you have to, and we'll be right back with our guests. All right, everyone. Welcome avidly again to Emerge and Empower. And listen, if you have not watched the first part, which was last week, then you need to go back because whatever's being said today is just a continuation. So go back and watch it. All right, go back and watch part 1. Avonlea, welcome again to Emerge and Empower with Dr. Lynn J. And we're truly happy that you're here with us today. I am so excited when I see a fellow sister or brother who has started that journey of healing. Not only have they healed, because healing is continuous, but they've emerged. They can talk about it. And wow, what a powerful testimony you have. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lynn. I am so excited to be back. I appreciate you allowing me to share my story on your platform. And yes, if you haven't heard about my story, go to part 1. This is just another continuation. But like you said, when we're stay stuck in drama in our life, and we start emerging from it, the power within us is so magnificent in so many ways that we're able to help one another. And that's the whole point of me sharing this message, is to help other people know how to emerge themselves, to
Yes.
be more renewed.
Thank you so much. And so we're going to dive right in because in part one, we ended where pretty much you had gone through your childhood, you've gone through high school, and now you're at the point of moving out of the house. So we're going to start right from that point and we'll move forward. So go ahead, Avonlea. Let's continue with part two.
Okay, so um, as I was in high school, I went through like a lot of a different kind of like abuse in some ways. But it's same. A lot of it was emotional.
Mm-hmm.
As teenager, we're transitioning and developing, and there's just a lot of things that a child in their teen is needing some I guess some emotional need, and where I
Right.
didn't get that emotional need, and a lot of things was projected on me, um, whether like I was doing like activities with other boys when I'm supposed to be um, in practice for my sports. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
just so many like things that my mom projected on me that I was doing, which was
Right.
emotionally abusive.
Right.
And in those moments, I just felt so um, just like I wasn't seen. And it didn't matter like the direction I was going, I was always being crushed. And as much as you want to like allow people to see the who you truly are, sometimes it's by setting an example
Right.
and just allow and enduring whatever people throw at you and whatever belief they have on you because of rumors that they heard. And it's just a way that my mom created to make her life like a hero. So by placing another child as a scapegoat and a problem or someone they project trash onto, they need that
Mm-hmm.
person. Whereas there's always another child that's always going to be very much looked upon, praised, and the golden child just happened to be in the same grade as I was, and that was just
Mm-hmm.
really hard for me because she ends up becoming a spy, and with anything that I've done or I'm talking to or having a relationship with my friends,
Mm-hmm.
like uh, just having like a good time, like it was then like presented to my mother, and then would trouble for a lot of that. And I had mentioned in part one that I was not able to eat after I was doing sports. And one of the things I did not mention is like the food that a lot of the times that we would eat was already like expired, not like
Wow.
by like a few months. It was like 10 years or 5 years. My mom
Wow.
had food stored up for a long time, and we ate a lot of the expired food. So it can also attribute to the lack of
Yes.
nutrition that I had, like I wasn't able to gain weight and stuff like that. And it's very
Mm-hmm.
needed. Nutrition is very needed for a growing body, especially as a teenager. And so it was just a lot of things that I had to tackle. And I had mentioned that I was raised in a religious home, and I wasn't ever keen the way my mom was treating us. It was just very hypocritical to me, and I saw that, but I never voiced my opinions because I would get in trouble. But one thing I really took in is knowing that hey, God exists and He absolutely loves us, and sometimes He uses our um, sometimes he puts us in like obstacles that we don't feel comfortable with, but maybe he's
Yeah.
using it as a story and a testimony. We just never know. And I just remember developing a relationship with Heavenly Father, knowing that, hey, the idea that there is someone greater that has greater power that actually loves me for who I am is only
Right.
temporary. But in the afterlife, knowing that God will embrace me fully and love me unconditionally. And that gave me a lot of comfort in knowing that, hey, that possibility in the back of my mind is what kept me going, is having a faith, that kind of faith, knowing like, you know what, I would rather have this faith than become a victim and
Right.
hold myself back from being able to move forward. And I don't know. I just think this is a greatest thing that God provides a lot of people, everybody. He provides it as a gift, knowing that, hey, you
Yes.
know, you can always you will always be loved by me. And
Right.
whatever you're going through, just lean on me, throw your burdens onto me. And yeah, I think as I grew up, I started recognizing the role God played in my life. He really was using my story as a testimony.
Hmm.
As hard as it is going through that, I would, like I mentioned before, I would rather be the one that goes through it than somebody
Right.
else.
Right.
So it's, it's hard to think that way because you don't want anybody to feel like they're undeserving or whatever. But life is just full of kindness, but it's also full of wickedness too,
Yes.
and
There's good
evil
and evil. It
people.
seems more
And
evil.
we,
There seems more evil than good,
mhm,
in the
yeah,
society
and
that we live in. And when you spoke about, I'm going to put a little pause here because you mentioned religious, and a lot of people are very religious, but not very Christianly in their acts. All right. There are so many forms of religion and beliefs out there. But when you profess
mhm,
to be a Christian, the rule is do unto others as you will have them do unto you, right? Christian, Christ like. And there was a time when people
mhm,
used to wear a band that says WWJD, what would Jesus do? Right? So if you're in a home that's supposedly Christian home, then there should be love and kindness and nurturing. You understand? Where family come together and fellowship and not abuse, all right, repeatedly. And that's one of the biggest abuse somebody can do
yep,
is starving
yep,
a child. Okay, now to be eating expired food, because expired foods, especially if it's like canned goods or things like that, that is also causing illness, all right, into the body, sickness and pains, all right, even death can happen from eating expired food. Okay. And you just mentioned it isn't months. You talk about years because the house is like a
yep,
storehouse for things that didn't matter what's on the, don't look at the expiration date. We eating this. Okay. Which is an attribution tribute to sickness, pains, okay, and other things, breakouts, you know, vision,
mhm,
all right, weakness.
yep,
So all of this. So I want
yeah.
so
And you're
just because
absolutely
we
right.
Mhm. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, you're absolutely right. Words of the expired food, like if we're not taking in that is really beneficial for our body, that's healing for our body and nutritional for our own
Mhm.
growth and learning. Like what we're doing, exactly what you had mentioned, Dr. Lynn, we're putting a lot of stress, we're putting a lot of sickness onto our
Yeah.
body. And that is something I wanted to also bring up is a lot of the pain that I endured, and this is with anybody that's gone through any sort of abuse, they
Yeah.
usually have to feel like if they can't express themselves, they
Yeah.
internally put their pain in
Yeah.
some sort of their
Internalize it.
body. And for me, that was exactly what I did. I stuffed it into my stomach. And I think that has a lot to do with not being able to eat. So I put a lot of
Mm-hmm.
like emotional energy and pain in my stomach, and also my back where I was burned.
Mm-hmm.
I never had it properly heal. And so when you don't give your body a chance to recover and feel like it's safe enough to heal, you
Mm-hmm.
end up internally storing it and poisoning yourself because you don't know how to get rid of the toxins. And and then with that, my back ended up becoming so hard, like a rhino armor, like, and somebody could poke a pin in my back and I would never feel it. I remember having an infection in my back, like, and there
Wow.
was a big, huge plastic in my back, and it got so infected that I had to have my sister look back there and ask, "Hey, something's poking me. Could you
Wow.
let me know what it is?" And she
Mm-hmm.
went back and she saw and took out this black, hard plastic piece that was jabbed into my back. And so
Wow.
stuff like that, you numb your feeling when people that are so abusive attack you. You feel like you're not in a safe environment to be able to release
Yeah.
and feel in a way where your body can heal properly.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up storing a lot of the abuse on my back, storing it in my stomach. And
Wow.
eventually, as I grew older, I ended up getting a tumor. And I'm in the process of getting that out, but it's a tumor
Wow.
the size of a cantaloupe. And
Wow.
I'm gaining like weight, like unexplained weight. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
not because like I'm not eating a lot. It's because if we go back to the root cause, I was
Yeah.
not taken care of. I was not I was fed what I needed to. So therefore my body
Mm-hmm.
was under attack.
Right.
And it was growing a tumor. And this
That's
is
the
where like
stress.
a lot of sickness, people have a lot of sickness.
Yeah, that is from the
Yeah,
stresses.
a
And
lot of
because you
stress.
decided to hold it, I find that people who have gone through traumatic experiences always have sensitive stomach because you're always nervous, you're always anxious, right? So you're sending it somewhere and it's usually the stomach. But in your case now, you're taking it to the back because you already have an old wound from when you were burned as a child, 3 years old, that was not treated properly. All right. So you're going through, you have internal and external scars.
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. And that's where like I want your viewers and your listeners to really take in is
Hmm.
I'm a prime example of what physical and internal abuse can do to you. If you have an emotional traumatic event that happens, such as me getting burned, and I'm not having the proper treatment, or my dad wasn't there to help me heal during the time definitely needed as a child,
Right.
it caused a lot of harm. It made my body shut down. And that's kind of like what your body does, it shuts down. It's like
Right.
a mechanism of heat, like it's a defense mechanism. It doesn't
Yeah.
want to be
Yeah.
hurt. And what does it do? It turtles up. And so that's exactly what had happened to me. And I just continued to respect my mother because she was a mom, and she has that role
Right.
as the title as a mother. But I wasn't. I kept quiet because I didn't want to cause more harm
Right.
onto onto myself, because whatever I did, I knew I would get attacked. So I learned to be quiet. I learned to hide in the shadows and be very just hiding behind the scene, not being noticed. Like it was like you exist and you're living, but you're not living.
Right.
You
You're just
don't feel like
existing, not living.
you are in this
Living is
earth.
when you're actually enjoying life. That's not living,
Yeah.
that's existing. Okay. You've survived and you were surviving through all of that. Now, for those who are just joining and you haven't seen part one, when she speaks about mother, she was adopted. Okay. So she did start off by letting us know that she's from India. Okay. And so they were adopted and came into America. Her mom passed away through to a fire when she was a little girl, in which she tried to assist the mom and she herself got burns, okay, on her body. So now here is a child who really didn't have the chance to be nurtured by, her maternal mother. Okay, her biological mother, because of course, number one, you said your mom had 11 of you guys. So, really, at 3 years old, you already didn't have that love and that care, that attention, right? Now you come into America, and now you're adopted into a family that now has 14, was even more than you nine growing up. Again, not having enough tender, loving care, but instead of getting care, having abuse. Now, what do you tell a child? What does a child do? They would still gravitate towards the mom because you want to be loved by the mom in your life. You want to be loved by the father, even if they are not your biological parents, but that's the person that's taking care of you. This is the person who's you're under their roof. So now you're looking for them to love on you. You're looking for them to be pleased with you, but yet you can't. And even if you express, it will target you. So now silence, okay, is what you go to for not expressing, because expressing means you would get in trouble. So you decide to be non-verbal to protect yourself from further harm. And that's a lot for a child to go through. All right. And I'm continue here because there are people that are still adopting children, and you see it on the news of maltreatment. All right, because a lot of them, these children are just a check, all right, that they're getting from the government. They don't care about the children that are in their homes. They're maltreating them. They could be out there. You've seen them where they starve these children to death. All right. So this isn't someone on the news right now. Okay. This is Avonlea on Emerging in Power telling her real story. It happened to her, and she has emerged, and that's how come she can share and talk about it. Okay. And I believe that's where her testimony is and where her purpose is. And she's here to share it with you. All right. So that is worthy of applause. That is worthy to show that you're strength. All right. That is a life of inspiration. It's on after all of that, in spite of all of that. You here today to uplift someone that is watching today, whatever that is that you're going through. Okay. But she's here to uplift. All right. Because our mission is for you to emerge and come away from it, survive it, and come away from it, not die in it, because that is the worst. All right. Avonlea, you may continue.
Yeah, amen, sister. Exactly. We just don't want to we don't want to stay stuck in the abuse, because what really is happening, it's not you that is the problem. It's the abuser that
Yes.
is insecure about themselves, and it could have just been a generational curses that's been passed down.
Yes.
Maybe like
Yes.
my parent, my mom probably got abused and they just passed
Mhm.
that on. But, we need to recognize that. We need to recognize it and make an end to it. I don't to
Right.
pass it on to your children just because your parent or your they didn't teach you the right way. There's an instinctual piece in us that we know what love is, and we crave that. That's why we go after it. We chase after it, because it makes us feel like we're seen, that we're heard, and we're safe. So naturally, we want to go after that. And so if you want to go after that, don't pass the garbage or that pain onto someone else, whether it's a cousin or your own family members or somebody in your work field. They are not deserving of it. You need things where it is with you, and recognize that these abusers that's causing you harm is their problem. Don't take, just because they know the best in you doesn't mean that other people won't see the good in you. You need to also see the good in yourself. See what your self-worth is. And that, I think, is what really helped me. And, you know, just because somebody is silent, I want to make note that that doesn't define that they are weak.
No.
I look back on my life and realize the silent is really God's way of working with me.
That's your strength.
And refining me, you know, and maybe, and maybe he didn't want me to be one to like attack or be more vocal like my sister, because then what that is doing is I'm bringing in more of like a negative energy, and maybe I would approach it in a different way that would hurt me in the long term. And so there's a blessing when it comes to being silent. Never take silence as a form of weakness, because you never know what that person is being built by, you know. And for me, God was building me for this day where I can be able to talk to many people that are suffering in traumatic abuse, and giving them hope and strength, and carrying their traumas and turning it into purpose, turning into strength, seeing the good in themselves, and being able to recognize and to leave it. So as I got older and I left the home, I went to college, and I remember asking my dad and my parents one last time, like, hey, where's the money that I worked hard for? I had 3 jobs. And I had mentioned that I used to work for my dad when I was younger, and my mom would always like take anything that I enjoyed. She would take it away. So I ended up working really early in my life to start earning money. I found out that my money went towards rent. It went towards insurance, health insurance. I never went and saw a doctor, but I was paying I needed to pay to live in my own home. And that is why I didn't get any of my money, the hard-earned money that I worked so hard for. It's because I knew that I would not come back and be accepted by my mom. So I worked hard because I needed to make sure that I was financially secure. And it was really hard when I found out in college that I had 0 money, and that I had to start all over again in a place, in an environment that I didn't even know how to like navigate, because it's like completely different. And I was completely on my own, and I had to again stay out of my comfort zone and take action, because at this point it was about survival for me, because if anything were to happen to me, I couldn't go back. I wouldn't be able to go back and get the help that I needed. And so I remember going to college and feeling like I was so behind in so many ways with amongst my peers. A lot of them were happy, could laugh, could joke, and a lot of them would, like, a lot of my friends would say, like, isn't that funny? Joke, you know, it's laugh about it. I couldn't laugh because I've always
there was nothing to laugh about.
Any of my emotions, and I didn't know yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is really uncomfortable for me. But I had to like learn to find my voice. And that
Voice.
was really hard because it's just like, yeah, it just felt like I was not
Mm,
myself, but I didn't know how to be myself. And that is just like so hard. And I think a lot of college students can relate to this, that's gone through any sort of abuse. When they come to like a new place where they could create friends, they have a hard time making friends because they're always trying to, let's say, people please,
right. Seek
because
approval
they just want
of
to fit in. They don't
others
want to look
and
like,
validation.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And they don't want to look like they are in a been raised up in an abusive home. Like nobody
Right.
wants to say, "Oh yeah, I was raised in an abusive home. This is what I want.
No,
This is what I went through." Like that's nobody wants that.
no,
People want to
no.
be normal. I wanted to be normal, but I
Right,
didn't know how to be normal, and I had to learn how to like figure out how to behave that way. And so I started watching people. I started watching how they behaved, how they went
right.
about, how they were confident in getting like their job interviews and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I started watching them, people just watching them, and I started mimicking their behaviors because I saw that they were successful, and I
Right,
wanted to not be left behind. But I also didn't want to be labeled, right? So I did my very best to like learn from my peers and observe their behaviors. And that's when I realized that I gone through so much where um, no child should be able to go through.
no, no
And
child.
it's just really hard to explain to anyone. So
No child.
yeah, and so during those moments, I prayed. I prayed for God's safety. I prayed that He can watch over me because I didn't want to go back to my home or even
Yes.
pick up my phone and call for help,
Right.
because I knew I wouldn't have help. So I really, really relied on God, and there's been so much blessings. And it wasn't easy. It was so hard to like just get up out of bed and
Yeah.
just face a new day. But I learned that, hey, if you put a smile on your face, if
Right.
you have like certain affirmation that tells yourself, hey,
Yes.
I'm worthy, I'm just as good enough as anyone else,
Indeed.
I can step into that door, I can be able to do that. Like when you
Yes.
start believing in yourself, then you can start healing. And
Yes.
when you find like that safety place, and I recommend anyone go find that safety place.
Find it.
Go
Find it.
find someone that would listen to you.
Yes.
Because we as human beings need each other.
We do.
We hear each other and we really grow and we heal one another. So it's really
Yes.
important that you can believe in yourself to know that you're worth it and you're worth
Yes.
healing. When I found my husband, I started dating my husband. Um, it was really hard to trust people, and
I'm sure.
he knew about my scars, but he never like actually ever asked me what happened to you. He respected
Wow.
me enough
Right. He waited. He
that
was waiting
it
for you
took
to
me
tell
like
him.
yeah, and I was dating him for like probably a good 4 months, and I never told him about my burns, but he could feel them, he could see
Right.
them. Um, but I finally asked him, like, "Hey, do you know about my burns?" He's like, "No, I didn't. I don't know anything what had happened, but I know you went through so much, and I'm just
Right.
waiting for when it's
Yes.
comfortable for you."
For you.
So he
Perfect.
wasn't pushing or nagging. Yeah, he was just waiting for me to open up, where I was willing to open that trust up again,
Right.
and feel like I'm safe in this environment. And as I felt like that was such like so empowering for me, and I respected him so much for it,
Yeah.
that I was able to feel safe around him. And as I continued to feel safe around him, and we started working towards like what we went through, and I went through my healing journey,
Uh-huh.
um, I would say when you allow love into your life, and
Oh,
you could
love.
feel like you found a, yeah,
Yes.
that actually loves you for who you are, your body changes.
Oh, yes.
And
It's
that's
healing in
exactly what
itself.
happened to me.
Love is healing in itself.
Mm-hmm.
First, you went to Christ's love as a father. You saw him for everything that you needed.
Yeah.
You prayed to him because that was where your hope was, even though you couldn't express yourself, but you expressed yourself through your prayers and through your affirmations, right? And you had to believe in what you said because that's all you have, right? When you don't have anything else, you have to rely solely on yourself and solely on God, you know. And there isn't an example of what that happiness or joy should be because it wasn't in your home. There was no example of what that confidence was because it wasn't in your home. But in your intelligence, right, and what God has poured into you, okay, He's given you wisdom beyond your ears to look at others, to understand what it is that you're lacking and how do I need to act. See, first you're looking at the surface, right? Now, when you do it, you're feeling what the confidence is. And now, of course, one of the biggest things is not feeling deserving of love. All right, because you feel like no, I don't deserve it. Good things shouldn't happen to me. Why? Because all of these negative things happen to people who should love you, not loving you, right? So you feel like you're in a loveless life. So of course when love comes around, you're going to be suspect. You know, you're going to look at it like, is this real? Is what's behind this? You know, is this a front? But then again, because you've gone through so much, as you've gone through, you're like, well, I don't think anything could be worse than what I went through already. So you face it head on. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So now I hear the phrase love lifted you. So love started a different journey for your healing. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm glad he was mature enough to pause and say, let me wait. I know she's been through some stuff, right? So he can see that there is baggage. But he was brave. It takes a brave man who want to come into the life of a woman that he sees there's a lot of scars externally, which means there are a lot of emotional scars, right? He's brave to wait, you know, and love you enough so you can be comfortable. All right. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, like I think I'm just so split with God. You know, God sends us certain blessings in our life, and for me, He sent my husband because
Hmm.
he knew I went through so much, and he knew that I needed somebody that could help me to
Hmm.
overcome and heal, and that we can work through this. And so when I finally was able to know my husband was safe enough, and that he loved me for who I am,
Hmm.
and I it was knowing that there was safety. And as I knew that our relationship was a home of safe and love, I knew that I could be able to purge all that stuff that was suffocating inside me. And
Yeah.
as I
Yeah.
was purging that out, guys, you're going to go through a lot of
Oh,
emotions that I've never felt. Like I suffocated. Like, yeah,
yeah.
I dealt with them in my private where I didn't want to be seen.
Right.
But like stuff like having emotions to feel what somebody's going through and
Yeah.
being able to cry
Yeah.
in front of somebody, there's healing in that.
Oh,
And
yes.
as I continue to um, work inward, because it's really important, it
Yeah.
is important if you're going through healing, you need to not be in denial, because
Yeah.
denial is only going
That's
to
the
set
first
you
thing.
back.
First
It's
thing.
just going to hold you back. Hmm. Yeah. Once you're not in denial, you can actually go in and face it head on, and
Yeah.
it just purges. It just comes out like toxins. And your body starts to heal.
Yeah.
So as I continue to work on myself, letting myself know that I'm worthy and that I am able to do things and I can have happiness, I can have success, I can be confident. Here, I need to recognize and I need to take what I used to self sabotage myself and
Yeah.
thinking, like, no, it's not okay. You just happen to have like a lifestyle where you have to endure the pain.
Yeah.
Like, once I shifted that mindset, because when we talk to ourselves that way, just because
Yeah.
somebody sees that in us does not mean it's okay for us to see that within ourselves. What happens is you are creating curses to be put on you,
Yeah.
and it ends up becoming a reality, that you won't be successful because you told yourself that you're not going to be successful. Everybody around you may have not seen the success.
Mm.
Yeah, it's mental. But once you recognize that the true power is stored within you, because God is within you and He can heal you inside out, then you could take that power back and you will
Oh, yeah.
see just how amazing the transformation is. And as I did that, I get goosebumps on my back. I
Oh,
never had nerve feelings ever in my life. You can
wow.
tap me on my back and I could feel them. My back started healing to, like, some parts of my body just kind of looks
Hmm.
like that, on my back. Others, it's still like
Wow.
fourth degree burns, but it is so movable, and
Not
so
rigid and
I
hard
don't I
anymore.
don't it's not rigid or hard. It's like you're taking the onion and you're peeling that off.
Yeah.
And that is what I did. And I allowed emotion back into your life,
Ooh.
because emotion is really
Beautiful.
important for yourself. It is so important because as you allow emotion in, you will start feeling the spirit. You will
Yes.
start feeling God and His empowerment within you, and that's just like so like profound and exciting, because someone like me that had was so hard. I remember going to Chicago one day for like summer sales, and this one guy, he went on my just like rubbed my back, and he's like, "Wow, it's like you have like a six pack, but on your
Wow.
back. It's just so hard." But like that's how hard of my back was,
Hmm.
and I never liked people touching me because
Right.
it reminded me of like everything I stored on it. And so
Yeah.
when I finally like decided to heal from it and found a safe place with my husband, knowing that I could be able to just let go of a lot of things and purge things out and allow
Hmm.
God to really work on me, what He's doing when you say enough is enough and you allow God into your life,
Yeah.
He transforms you. It's like
Beautiful.
He is putting you through a fire. Again,
Yes.
I am going
Refiner's
back
fire.
into a
Refiner's
spiritual
fire. That's a
fire.
different kind of fire.
Hmm.
Refiner's
Yes,
fire.
yes, exactly. And He was refining me. He was refining me. And every thought that I had that was not good, that was evil,
Hmm.
He's burning. and I had to replace it with goodness. And as I'm
Yes.
doing that, he's merging that old me into a gold me. Gold
Yes.
represents abundance. It
Yes.
represents purity. He's purifying us. And
Yes.
that is exactly what he is doing. He was purifying me. And he does that to anyone. And it's an invitation that he
Yes.
gives to anyone who wants it. And it's up
Yeah.
to you to open that invitation and make that call and say, hey, I'm ready. And I will tell you, during those times that you feel heated, the adversary is going to do its job to make it
Oh,
even
yeah.
worse. And it's going to feel like hell. But
Yeah.
just know he's going to love you, and just lean on him even more, because he is burning those impurities and those spiritual adversaries are purging out of you, and he's burning those
Yeah.
up too. So allow
Hmm.
those to come out of, allow them to be burned up. You don't want those in you anymore. Let
No.
yourself be completely renewed. Allow
Yes.
allow God's blessings to be poured onto you. And so that was, I went through that process of healing, and that's really what my healing looked like. I ended up getting books, get some really helpful books that's going to help change the mindset.
Right.
It's really
Self help.
important. Change habits.
Hmm.
Hmm. Get some habits, really good habits that you can make changes within yourself. Habits are really good. It's really
Right.
important for the body. As
Yes.
we continue to make these changes, you will start seeing who you truly are.
Hmm.
And then it gave me a chance to go back and face my mother and let her know, like, I had to go through that forgiveness process too.
Yeah.
And forgiveness is completely different for everyone. It's not like my way is the right way. Like,
Right.
depending on what someone goes through, you're
Hmm.
it's a package between you and the Lord. And
Right.
because we're all unique, we all have a unique story. And so I remember going back to my mom a few times, explaining to her, like, hey, I'm sorry. And for the longest time, I thought, if I get apology back and she forgives me, it's like an exchange, then we're good. It's not like
Right.
that, guys. It's
It
really, the
usually, I'm
forgiveness is a
sorry.
process
The
between
truth
you and the
is, it
Lord.
usually don't work that way. So we have to learn that, hey, I've released this person, because forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person, right? So when you give this
Yeah.
forgiveness, and the person, most um abusers are not receptive. It's like, what? Like, or they're in denial. I didn't do anything. It wasn't. So they
Yeah.
don't receive it. So you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that, because when you release unforgiveness, it's not for them. It's for you. It doesn't matter how they react
Yeah.
to you for that, because it's all yours, right? It's for your betterment, it's for your life, it's for you to excel, it's for you. And that weight comes off, right? Going to her, of course, we hope that when you go to someone, you say, hey, this has happened, and they will admit. So most of the time, it's about admitting that, you did harm me. But most of the time, you're not going to get that reaction.
Mhm. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dr. Lynn. And that is something that's exactly what I went through, is recognizing, hey, this process, this forgiveness was for me to
Yeah.
take a stand, and also recognizing my self-worth. And when I told my mom, like, the direction the family was going to go, like, we can end it there and start all over fresh, I thought that would be like just an amazing gift. But
Hmm.
no, not for her, because she does not want to acknowledge that she did wrong. So I remember just being so frustrated with God and telling him, like, I'm doing everything I can to make things work. Like, what am I going to do? And he's finally was like, you did everything that you
That's
can.
it.
Now give your burdens to me. Don't worry about your
That's it.
past. And then that's exactly what I did. He's like, you need to focus on your family. You need to
That's
raise your
it.
children, focus on them, give your family to me. And that's exactly what I did. And I remember when I decided to give that to God and I'm going to move forward, he lifted so much blessings from me. My suicidal tendency, I never had anymore. Never, because I trusted in God. Sometimes God
Yeah.
makes us put work. Makes us put work in because it molds us. It makes us stronger. It builds us, and those are important. As a mother or a father would do with a child, we're not going to keep a child from walking because they keep falling. We're going to keep
Right.
encouraging that child, get up, you got this. And pretty soon they're going to walk, they're going to run, they're going to go to school, they're going to graduate, whatever it is. There's always going to be a graduation
Right.
in their accomplishment. And it's like through like forgiveness is no difference. He tells us what we need to do. And then when we did what we can, he tells us, give me that burden. It's not for
Yes.
you to carry anymore. I can
Take your
handle it.
burden and leave it
And
there.
I had to just say, okay, like, yes, you handle my mom. You know how to help her the best, but she has to be willing. And so
Yeah.
that's when I just was so relieved of what I went through. And I look back and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I went through that. But I turned out better, you know?
Yes.
So there was so many blessings that come from it. And so after a few years, God asked me to write my story. And I didn't want to do that. I'm like, I don't want to write my story.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to like share their story
Right.
because it's fun or whatever, like especially abuse. You're putting yourself in a vulnerable
Right.
situation.
And you're putting
You don't
yourself
know how
out
people
there.
are going to take it. And that is
Mhm.
something I feared. Yeah. And that's exactly, I told God, I said, I can't do this. I don't want to go back into my past and relive that again. But
But it was necessary, believe it
he
or
gave
not.
me new eyes.
Yes, that's what he does.
Mhm. Well, if I were to write my book during the times that I was going through, like what I went through, there would be a lot of frustration, anger. Maybe I would say things that would not be necessarily pleasing to the readers, but I had to
Right.
go through that growth and learning and maturity. So to a point where I could be able to write it in a way that is worthy for God. And he told me, he's like, look, your story I'm using. What you didn't go through your life just because that was something you needed to go through. I allowed you to go through that because I'm going to use your story as a testimony. And it's that testimony that's going to help other people that are out there struggling, that feel completely lost, and your story can empower them. And so,
Yes.
yeah, I wrote it for that very reason. And I don't know if anybody feels like they could relate. Know that there's hope. Hope is the beginning of healing in many ways.
Yes.
Have faith in yourself that you will get through it. And just writing the story, I'm meeting so many amazing people,
Yeah.
and I'm getting messages from many people that are being um, that align exactly what I went through,
Right. They
but
can
it's giving them
relate.
hope, and that's exactly what. That's exactly what I want. Is I want to give people a chance to see that they are worthy of healing, worthy of
Yes,
a life that's worth living.
indeed.
Because after the
What's the
end
name
of
of
the
the
day,
book for the viewing audience? Do you have a
the
copy?
name,
We can put it on the screen.
yeah, I do. Yeah, so this is the book. It's called Strength of Scars. Um, and I
Put it
titled
up
the
there again.
book
Bring it closer.
Strength of Scars because it's relatable.
All right.
Yeah,
Beautiful cover.
thank you. I wrote that book entitled Strength of Scars because we all have scars, whether it's internally or externally. We are not perfect. We've endured, and it doesn't matter if you've gone through, if some people have gone through more than another.
Yeah.
Um, scars is, everybody has it. Everybody has a burden, and you're
Yes.
worth it too. Even like God, who walked on this earth, has scars on his hands and his feet,
Yeah.
and he shares his story as a testimony.
Yeah. But he
And
took them
so
for
don't
us,
think that
took them
just
for
because
us.
you have scars isn't exactly, but it's also an example that if God is sharing his scars and he's overcome it, and
Share your scars.
he and we follow in his footstep, that we have a way to share our stories with other people,
Yes.
share our scars, because our scars are beautiful. They empower us and make us whole.
Wow, Avonlea, your story indeed is a story that I believe the viewers will be reacting to continuously. And do get the copy of the book. We will have the link in the description so that you'll be able to connect with Avonlea. And hopefully, we can even spotlight her, come on and do an author spotlight so that you'll be able to spend more time on your reach when it comes to the book. Now, again, the stories are real stories and the healings are real healings. These are not make believe, these are not fictional. All right. So these are true individuals who have emerged and now are here to empower you. I know some of you were close to tears or probably were crying, but as you can tell, when someone is healed, right now, you don't have time for those tears. It's like you got to push forward beyond those tears. The tears of healing has shed, the tears of shame had shed. All of that had happened, and now you can stand bravely and share your story. Now, individuals don't come on here for your pity. All right, they done been there and done that. They're stronger than that because when they were in that situation, they weren't saying, they weren't heard, you name it. And they could have died and been another statistic, right? But instead, emerge forward, all right? Came away from it. And indeed, Avonlea, your story is indeed an emergent story. And listen, before we close out, any last words that you would like to say, possibly to a mom or a viewer who has not yet released it, ashamed to talk about it? Is there any last words?
Yeah, you're worth it. I would say you are worth it, and don't allow any negative or people around you say that you're not, or throwing some things at you that is not true.
Hmm.
You believe in yourself, and if you feel
Yes.
like you are worth healing, believe in yourself, and that
Yes.
once you believe that you are worth it, be, becomes a ripple effect of goodness that will be a blessing in your life. So take that leap, take that step, because it's it's to me, it's worth seeing people happy, and
Yes.
you are worth it. Just because you're surrounded by people that might not believe in you, there are
Yeah.
people around this world that believes in you. Even if we don't know
Yes.
you, we
Yes.
are rooting for you. So take
You're
that
worth
leap and
it.
know that change can happen, and believe in yourself.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I am deserving of love. I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Avonlea, we want to thank you. And I do believe this will not be the last time that we have you on Emerge and Empower. And such a powerful testimony as we open up season 5. This is to let you know that there is more to come. And again, if you have a story to tell and you just didn't feel like you were in the right space or found the right couch to come on, well, come on to Emerge and Empower. We are here for you. We find you relatable. We're here to cheer you on. All right. This is not a judgment zone. This is a place of love so that you can be free and live, right? No more existing, but living bountifully in joy, in peace, in deserving. You are God's masterpiece. Amen. So thank you so much for being on Emergent and Power today, Avonlea. Until next week, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. All right, everyone, I thank you for watching. And again, it's been a powerful, powerful testimony on today with Avonlea as she had shared her emergence. What a story. All right, we did part 1 and we just close off in part 2. And I want you to know that there is hope for the hopeless. All right, there is hope. All right, and you can get through this. Keep pushing, push like your life depend on it, because when they were trying to destroy you, your life depended on it. But God brought you this far, and He didn't bring you this far to leave you. So thank you for watching Emerge and Empower. And again, we're waiting to get your story of emergence. Until next time, everyone, thank you. We'll see you next week.